Good afternoon, everyone. I understand that we're short of time and we're running behind the schedule, so I'll make it quick. So, before we get into the presentation, broad sense, what we're trying to speak today is about. We understand that the startup ecosystem or the startups is what is. Yeah. Startups are the ones which are kind of moving the ecosystem forward or creating an ecosystem around various segments or various sectors and all of that. But however, when you look at growth, obviously this is a known thing that it comes with kind of your risks and liabilities that can come up because you're at a very you're kind of targeting a very fast-paced growth and you would want to kind of try out a lot of stuff within a short period of time. And that can at times lead to, obviously, the risks and liabilities which you might not be covering full yourself. Now, this is some of the kind of risks, while I would not read out everything, some of the risks which you might be aware of and some of the risks which you might not have seen earlier. But just to give a brief glance of, what the kind of risks that any of the startup which is in a growth phase would look at. And why do we think, while everyone might understand that there are some of the risks, why do we think that these risks are not understood to the depth that they should be understood? Is some of the reasons is, as I said, unlike the companies which have kind of grown and which have been established, there are no standard protocols or risk management kind of solutions that are put in place. Or emerging and developing leadership, which means someone who's been given an opportunity to handle a larger portfolio, but they would not have understood the risks behind that portfolio while they understand how to grow it or while they're eager to grow it, which also brings in some part of risks and liabilities around it, and so on and so forth. Probably the pressure to innovate fast and and to kind of grow faster, or a constrained financial resources which might not allow you to kind of spend time or efforts or resources in ensuring that you put this risk mitigation process in place. So just to give a couple of examples of these, where either the company, one startup has sued the other one, or a large company has sued someone else, either for hiring some of the talent from back end, or kind of reverse engineering. They're very, very frequent things that we see. Obviously, I've not put in some of the Indian context here because I'm sure there's a lot of investor community as well here, and obviously no one would like to see some of the names there. But yes, we see day in, day out some examples coming out in news, which might be related or which might be parallel to this, is what I would say. So, how are we different from anyone else as PolicyBazaar? See, basically, it's not only about, as we worked on the retail side as well, and what we're working on the corporate side as well, it's not only about insurance or a product as such. It's about how can you, before you get into that insurance part and once you get into the insurance part, how do you kind of either mitigate or prevent certain things through either the value-added services or any other services which you can get from organizations like us, which otherwise you might not want to invest it in yourself, which larger organizations can do. Or the second part is about once you get into a risk incident kind of a situation, how do you kind of handle it much better with limited resources, limited constraints and all of that. That's what we're about, and I think we'll speak more about it with some examples. But before that, just to tell you about who we are. We are India's largest broker today at about roughly 20,000 crores of premium that we do on an annual basis, and almost 1.5 times the size of the next largest broker in the country. We've started our journey in about 2008. We're about 16 years old and listed in 2021, and kind of got into large corporates insurance in 2021, and also got into reinsurance space to be able to handle mega projects and engineering projects as well in 2024. And while we understand, we've been on the retail side and the B2C side, the B2B has a bit of complexities as well, whether it's in terms of handling a claim and certain scenarios which you not have seen in the last 5 years or of our existence. So we obviously have a dedicated advisory board which we have placed only for PolicyBazaar for Business, who are there to kind of guide us at any point of time in case of any complex risks that might come in, which can be dealing with liability cases or large mega project cases or anything. So some of these people are well-known people in the insurance industry and have quite reach there. So Srinivasan sir has been, the longest-serving CMD of New India Assurance. Nilesh Satya sir, ex-LIC, and has been part of IIDA. Similarly, the other members who are there. These are members who we have constituted as, some of them as employees, some of them as part of advisory board, but full-fledgedly supporting policies of a business and the category of risks that we are speaking about. And these are some of the fast-growing businesses who have been associated with us in either in the employee benefits or the commercial risks, whether it's a liability risk or asset risks, which we help out today, and some more on the marquee clients, on the people who have long-standing business or the brands that have grown to further larger size kind of. These are just some of them, and today we kind of support about roughly 4,000 plus mid-sized to large-sized businesses and about roughly 70,000 odd SMEs in the country today through this channel. So again, I'll just skip through a couple of slides. This is basically how we've kind of, apart from the regular insurance policies as such, how we've been able to kind of categorize what are the kind of risk needs that a different size of a company has, and accordingly been able to kind of say create a package solution for each and every size kind of with respect to what kind of risk should they take and what would the premium should be and so on and so forth. But and as I said earlier, right? So what we do today as PolicyBazaar compared to anyone else in the market is that traditionally, there's been a scenario where you speak about insurance and you take a policy, you pay for the policy, and if a claim comes, then it's handled. Otherwise, the policy is there. That's how it is. But as I said, we are more than what insurance is. As I said, it's about pre-insurance and the post-claim part of it. For example, if you look at one of this product, which is cyber insurance kind of thing, what we do, these are certain things which we kind of provide with our in-house capability, which we have deployed in-house, versus other brokers who only speak about insurance, or obviously there's Gyan that everyone speaks about, which is, that this is what has happened in US, this is what has happened, or this is what is there in news and so on, so which we also can speak about. But then there are, ability in terms of managing that risk or, kind of services which can actually prevent that incidents from happening, whether it's in terms of certain things like risk scanning or vulnerability scanning, with all of this being in-house kind of a thing and not kind of depending on that. And apart from this, for example, this is one of the things where we partnered with another institution to kind of bring in, which we be partnered for majorly for large corporates, but as a result of which we've been able to kind of provide as a value-added service without any additional cost to even startups as well, which kind of it's a report or it's a scan basis report which will give you across multiple parameters how is your systems or how good or how vulnerable are your systems or the processes around. And basis that it's not only about telling how vulnerable or how good is it, but wherever it's vulnerable, going into depth and saying what is it that you need to fix. So this is, as I said, this is beyond insurance, right? Once you come on board with us, these are certain things which come in unlike anyone else where it's just about insurance kind of. And similarly, for example, if you speak about other products like directors and officers insurance, we have an in-house legal expertise panel which can help out in case of anything turning out the other way around, or in case of, at times it might not run always into a claim kind of a thing. It might be a small thing which, if not handled well in time, can run into a claim. And that can lead to a further reputation loss and a lot of other things. And similarly, PR experts and investigators whom we've kind of made a panel which can help in case of crisis management. These are again some things which does not come as part of the policy, but these are kind of value-add services which we are able to attach and kind of provide without any additional costs. And if we speak about kind of employee benefits that we provide for those who come on board with us, this is just a comparison of what PolicyBazaar does and other brokers does. For example, today, this is something which we have done about 2-3 years back, and today a lot of people have tried to copy. But then what happens is when they say doctor on call is one thing which we believe is a preventive mechanism which can help employees, kind of taking an online consult in time can help kind of reduce the number of days of hospitalization or kind of the aggravation of a ailment. But then when you speak about doctor on call, there are some people who don't provide. There are some people who provide a call center doctor who are not actually practicing doctors, or who only provide GPs. And GPs from Tier 2, Tier 3 towns. But when you speak about us, we provide across 16 specializations, actual practicing doctors in even Tier 1 cities, Tier 2, Tier 3 across. And when you open the app and when you see it, you might even find a doctor from Fortis or Apollo or these, if they're available at that point of time. And which means, the comfort increases and the ability for your employees to engage improves. It's not about, just giving a feature for the sake of giving, but it's also about ensuring that your employees engage in it, which might mean meaningful for the organization. and just to speak about psychologist or a legal advisory, there are days when, in the past when our parents used to be, we know who's the legal advisor around or where can you go for small legal troubles. But today you don't know that. Even that is also part of the panel. And for example, the unmatched claims experience that we speak about, we have in-house doctors who are supposed to actually review each and every case which gets rejected or goes below a particular level of deduction or above a particular level of deduction. Why is this so? Again, the industry that we're speaking about, the claims executives who are at a claims level in TPAs or insurers, there's a lot of churn that happens at that level, at executive level. And hence it's prone to mistakes. It's about whether your employee wants to escalate to you and then you act on it, or is there a partner for you who can act on it without someone escalating and giving a better employee delight kind of. And this is the other thing which only, again, as I said, only, as part of being PolicyBazaar and none of the other players provide today. We're present in about 117 locations. Tomorrow, let's assume, you're a startup based out of Bangalore. Your employees traveling to, say, Varanasi, or their parents who are covered under the policy traveling to Varanasi, and suddenly they fall ill or sick and they have to be hospitalized. Now, who's going to be there with them for the next 5-6 hours till time someone arrives to the city? There's a 99% chance that there'll be one of our employees who will be able to go to the hospital and kind of be there and take care of things till time your employee kind of comes in. This is the other thing which we speak about, again, at times it might happen that some of the people might have exhausted their sum insured in the policy, or some of them would have kind of not been able to kind of get into a cashless hospital, as a result of which they have to spend out of their time, out of their pocket. And as startups, I would say, some of the employees might be tighter on their pocket. This is where we've been able to kind of partner with, at a group level, with, NBFC and PolicyBazaar being there, to offer a 0% loan to employees for the 60-day period duration, so that, they can kind of take their hospitalization, and then once the reimbursement comes in, they kind of get it back. And this is the other thing which we've just launched recently. This is a discharge process which typically happens in the employee or any health insurance policy, right? Primarily where, a doctor communicates in the morning at about 8 o'clock on the rounds that, you're good to go today. And, then the file reconciliation starts happening between accounts department, the floor in charge, the nurse, and everyone, and it takes about 4 hours. And that's when it goes to the TP or insurer for approval. And then it is about 2-hour TAT that the TP or insurer takes, and the TAT is always calculated there. But for the employee, what they say is, I've been made to sit in the hospital for 8 hours to give approval, because they've been counting from about 8 a.m. in the morning, or, whenever that doctor has told them to move out. What we've been able to partner is, kind of to ensure that this happens slightly earlier, and as a result, the billing reconciliation keeps happening in parallel. And the moment doctor says you're good to go, and you inform our executive, and probably within 15 minutes, the hospital will let you move out of the hospital. That's the kind of process that we moved into. And again, this is certain innovations that we've kind of been able to do basis the feedback that we keep getting from clients. And we are very happy to kind of, in case if there are any additional or particular challenges that you see in any of the programs, whether it's employee benefits, whether it's in the liability side of risks, or any side that might be. We're very happy to kind of innovate and partner there, because what we feel is, and all of this, what we've built is not what we've sat in the room and kind of thought of. It's primarily basis what our clients' feedback is, and we try to kind of keep on improving day in, day out, and that's what it is. So primarily, it's just not about insurance. It's about, how can you actually lead to employee delight in case of employee benefits kind of a thing, apart from insurance, and at the same time, kind of take care of your preventive mechanisms as well as post-claim kind of mechanisms in a much better way, rather than just saying the insurance policy is there, that will take care of it kind of. We're very happy to kind of, take any questions. The team is also there outside as well. And thanks for being here. Thank you.